course, one of our bigger cases is what led to us hiring DK Global to do some animation work for us. So my name is Darl Champion. I have a plaintiff's personal injury firm in Atlanta called the Champion Firm. I think our practice is somewhat unique in that we take both very large cases and very small cases as well, and try to push them all to trial to get our clients the best results. Our client was leaving a restaurant. It was early morning hours in November. Her light turned green. She went to turn left. A pickup truck, was traveling at a high rate of speed and blew through the red light and basically T-boned her. He was in fact intoxicated. His blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. He was driving a company vehicle, and as a result of the impact, our client had devastating injuries. It's really a miracle that she survived. In terms of, any obstacles we had in the case, the biggest one was our client was in a coma for several weeks, and in ICU. And that was difficult because we were having to deal with, essentially a lack of information from her. We did get a guardianship set up for her where her mom served as her guardian, and was able to make decisions for her. This case is a good example of having multiple different third parties assisting us on the case and kind of working together. One of our strategies was, okay, we want to get a day in the life video or a settlement brochure video. People call them different things, but just something like telling the story of what happened and showing how these injuries have affected our client. And so what we did was we got an animation that starts shortly before impact, shows the vehicles approaching the intersection, shows the collision. Then it goes to our client and it shows her basically, from head to toe, all of her injuries, all the broken bones. So, one of the strategies that you want to do when you send a demand is it's not about trying to play gotcha with an insurance company, but what we want to do as the lawyers for our client is give the insurance company as much information as possible to evaluate the case. And that includes showing them this powerful video of the settlement brochure video with the animations, so that if the insurance company doesn't pay it and 2, 3, 4 years down the road, there's a trial about whether the insurance company should have settled the case, we can go back and look at this and say, hey, we gave you all this information. We gave you all our client's medical records. We showed you her medical bills were over $1 million. We sent you this 45-minute video, and you saw all of her injuries, and you still didn't pay it. Anybody who would look at that video would pay the demand. And that's really what our strategy is. A great thing about getting companies involved to do animations or illustrations early on is you can use them for a variety of purposes. So, in our current plan is to use them in the settlement brochure video as well as the demand package. If the case doesn't settle, then you can use them with the doctors. The doctors can use them to point out the body parts that were hurt, how they were injured, because they can use that to illustrate their testimony as what's called a demonstrative exhibit. And again, I think that's a good example of repurposing stuff. It's not just, hey, this is the standalone product we're going to use for one reason. You can repurpose it with all this stuff. Those will all be used as part of the demand package. I think that's a good example, though, of y'all were so on top of it. It's always good to deal with any vendor in any space that kind of knows what they're doing, that has ideas as well, because that's something that, I may have my own ideas and say, well, I want to go this particular direction, but y'all have so much experience with all sorts of different cases and all sorts of different venues with different law firms. It was nice to kind of have that collaboration and get that feedback on some ideas, and ultimately I was very, very impressed with the finished product.